Hello, and welcome to Inventors Helping Inventors. I'm your host, Alan Beckley, inventor of the Wonder Wallet. If you're an inventor searching for proven ways to make money with your invention, if you dream to see your product selling in stores everywhere, you've come to the right place. There's no better place to get help than from experts, inventors who've already achieved success. Every week, I interview successful inventors, asking them the questions you want to know. Tune in to learn from the experts so you can get your invention out of the tank and into the bank.
Well, Renee, you're a designer. Why don't you design a bag that solves this problem? And my immediate thought was, I don't sew. Like, why would I do that? It never occurred to me. And then fast forward a couple months later, I woke up from sleep and I saw in my mind how it could work and how to do it.
I'm very excited to bring to you, my podcast listeners, a workshop that I've been doing for a few months now with members of my membership group as well as coaching students. And this powerful workshop is called Tap Powerful AI Tools Workshop. It's going to be on Tuesday, the 28th of October, 7 p.m. Eastern. And I'm excited to bring this to podcast listeners. So what are you going to learn in this workshop? First of all, let me just say something very quick. If you're not really tapping the power of AI to save you time, effort, and money so you can spend more time inventing, you are missing out. And I can assure you, you are tapping just a fraction of the real power that's there. So this workshop is going to have two modules. Module 1 is query optimization. You'll learn how to design the perfect optimized query to get right to the specific answers you want. And one of the things that you're going to find is how to create in less than 10 minutes, get this, a competitive product market study for your product with one single well-designed query in AI. You'll learn how to do that in this workshop. And the students in the last workshop were amazed with the benefits of that. But wait, there's more. There's a second module, and that is create images using AI as your artist. Use your imagination, describe what the image you're looking to create, and you can create custom images. Now, on both of these, I'm going to also share with you different AI platforms that you can use easily that will give you particularly good results. So on the creating imagery, we're going to look at 4 different platforms that can help you with that. So how do you get there? You just go to alanbeckley.com/tapai. Again, the link to get there is alanbeckley.com/tapai. The workshop is going to be about an hour and a half on Tuesday, the 28th of October, 7 p.m. Eastern, and I look forward to seeing you there. Oh, don't wait to register. Register now, because the limited enrollment is no more than 15 students, because this is a hands-on workshop, and I really would like for you to be there. Welcome to episode number 554. Today, I interview Renee Scalzini. Renee Scalzini grew up in Buffalo, New York. She studied graphic design at State University of New York in Fredonia. Subsequently, she pursued a career in graphic design, both online and print, that led her to becoming an inventor. Years ago, when Renee invested in designer prescription sunglasses, she wanted to protect them in her handbag. She did some research looking to find handbags with built-in protective compartments for her glasses, but there were none. She found that her friends shared the same frustration. So she leveraged her graphic designer expertise to invent the solution, the Gia Mini Tote, which features a patented built-in protective pocket system for glasses. With a background as an award-winning graphic designer, Renee blends artistry with her innovation to create timeless accessories that solve everyday problems, including her mini totes. Her handbags are among the few in the world crafted from next-generation silicone leather, a material typically used in luxury cars, yachts, and jets. This innovative leather is eco-friendly, animal-free, and exceptionally durable, making it a premium alternative to traditional handbag materials. Renee's vision extends beyond style. She champions sustainability, slow fashion, and problem-solving design for modern life. Her work has been featured in publications and embraced by women nationwide who value elegance without compromise. Today, Renee continues to innovate, creating accessories that empower people to live beautifully and practically. You'll want to listen to this entire interview where Renee shares how she combined her graphic design training experience to create a high-quality, aesthetically beautiful purse. Also, how it took more than a year of iterations to protect her design. And finally, why she feels it is essential for inventors to join and learn from other inventors. Collaboration is key. Now, let's get right to our interview with Renee Scalzini. Renee Scalzini, it's a pleasure to have you on the podcast with us today.
Thank you for having me, Alan.
You bet. Renee, could you share a bit about your background with the listeners? Where did you grow up and go to school, and what did you do before you became an inventor? Could you share that with our listeners?
Absolutely. I grew up in Buffalo, New York. I went to school at State University of New York College at Fredonia, and there I studied graphic design. And since then, graphic design has been my career, both online and in print. And that's really served me well leading up to what I'm doing now.
It's fantastic. What you did in school has led to what you're doing now. Not everybody is in that situation. I'm an engineer by trade, but I'm an aerospace engineer, but I don't exactly doing that right now. So sometimes you do different things over time. Could you briefly share with our listeners the aha moment, the event that happened that caused you to invent your solution to a problem that I'd say every woman faces, and that is glasses getting scratched or damaged within a purse? Could you share that with our listeners?
Yes, I invested in a pair of designer prescription sunglasses, and I wanted to take care of them. So I went on a search to find a handbag that had a protective place to keep them. And to my surprise, there was nothing out there, both online, department stores. And to share my frustration, I was talking to some friends over dinner. I asked them if they had a similar problem, and we all agreed. And we didn't understand why we would spend thousands of dollars of designer bags and they would not have any functionality on the inside. So once we had this conversation, and a friend of mine who's an architect said, "Well, Renee, you're a designer. Why don't you design a bag that solves this problem?" And my immediate thought was, I don't sew. Like, why would I do that? It never occurred to me. And then fast forward a couple months later, I woke up from sleep and I saw it in my mind how it could work and how to do it. So I immediately started sketching it out, and then everything took off from there.
That's amazing. It's a great story, inspiration, and recognizing once again a problem and think, surely it's been solved, and then start looking around and realize it truly hasn't. And I'm thinking that, especially in a purse, there's keys and all sorts of other things, all of which could scratch your glasses if they're not properly, I guess I would say, isolated and protected. And furthermore, I'm sure you can talk about this in a minute, but the material is important as well. That was a great aha moment. And then following up on it, also famously, the benzene ring came from the person having a dream. And they were like a physicist, and they were struggling trying to figure out what was the structure of benzene. They'd been working all day on it and thinking about it, and they knew it was a combination of six somethings. And in the middle of the night, they had this dream, and they saw this hexagon, these six hexagons or whatever. And all of a sudden, they woke up and grabbed a pad and started writing it down, and they realized that was the structure for the benzene ring. So that came in a dream also.
That doesn't surprise me. I think that's where we get our best ideas. I think they come from beyond.
Yeah, I agree as well. So on your website, you describe your invention, the Gia Mini Tote. The Gia Mini Tote is a secure pouch that fits within a purse, specially designed to easily store glasses safely and securely. Can you share with our listeners what makes the Gia Mini Tote superior to competitive purse organizers or other items targeted to solve the same problem? And does the Gia Mini Tote use special materials particularly designed for preventing glasses from getting scratched? Could you share that with us?
Yes. So my invention is the actual pocket system that's sewn into the Gia Mini Tote. So I offer two styles of bags that have the pocket system sewn in to validate the concept that we need this kind of functionality in our bags. The second part of your question was about the materials. And the materials you could see if you happen to see the video or go to my website, the pocket has a stiffness and a structure to it so that it protects your glasses. But when you're not using the pocket for your glasses, it folds flat and therefore it frees up a lot of valuable space that we have in our purses, which is really important if you carry a smaller bag.
That makes perfect sense. And again, it's a great solution to a problem, as we just discussed, that pretty much every woman has. No one likes to have their glasses get scratched, but where are you going to carry your glasses? They're going to go in your purse.
We have cases that come with our glasses, but most people don't really carry them. I
Yeah.
mean, they're bulky and cumbersome. So the whole point was we don't have to think about it.
Yeah. And taking up a lot of room. Can you describe for our listeners how the Gia Mini Tote looks and functions? And then also, besides your Mini Tote, what other competitive products are out there that at least advertise similar benefits to secure your glasses without scratches? Can you speak to both of those points?
Yes. So the Gia Mini Tote is a small tote bag that has the built-in protection to it. You can wear it three ways. You can wear it as a crossbody, as a backpack, or just simply as a tote. And the functionality that's built in, as we were saying, has the built-in case that makes all the difference. As far as competitors and what else is out there, I am not aware of any handbag that has a specific designated space for your glasses that protects them. So I can't speak to that, but you can carry your case that comes with your glasses, and that's the only way I know to really protect them within a handbag.
Okay, that makes that so much clearer, at least for me, because I think what I'm understanding, I had thought the Gia Mini Tote was the pouch within a purse, and the Gia Mini Tote is the entire system. It's the purse plus the protective pouch within it. Is that correct?
Yes. So the patent is around the pocket system. And that pocket system, I put it in two different styles of handbags to put it into use. And the end goal would be to partner with a larger brand that manufactures handbags and put this functionality in all kinds of purses. That was the initial goal of what I'm doing.
And I was just thinking about this. This could be a perfect product for QVC or HSN.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Another point I want to get to, this is one that we don't like to speak to, but it's just the reality. And that is every inventor faces challenges in developing and marketing their inventions. What would you say has been your biggest challenge with developing your invention and how did you overcome it? Can you speak to that?
Hands down, the biggest challenge I had was manufacturing. And my struggles with manufacturing was about getting the level of quality that I needed to put a product out there, number one. But number two, with the Gia Mini Tote, it's made with an innovative material that's only been around since 2015. And that material is silicone leather. And silicone leather has different properties than polyurethane and faux leather as we know it. There's no plastic, it's non-toxic, it's eco-friendly, animal-friendly. But the other properties that make it really exceptional is that it's heat resistant and cold resistant, so it's not going to crack and peel over time. This material is used in luxury cars, luxury boats, jets, because of its durability. Another amazing thing about this material is you can write on it with a pen. It will wipe right off. If you have a child with sticky fingers, crayon, marker, all of that can be cleaned off of this material. So it's incredible. And as a result, not many manufacturers have worked with it. So it comes with its own sewing guide. It comes with its own glue process. It's completely different. So it took over a year to get the Gia Mini Tote to what it is today, just through iteration after iteration. At one point, the manufacturer was going to give up. We had to throw out hundreds of bags because the quality was not where it needed to be. And thankfully, I met Carmen Densico from the United Inventors Association, who was extremely helpful to me because he connected me with his quality assurance connections in the area, in the same space. So with that help, I was able to get a second run of the Gia Mini Totes, and I had them inspected, and everything went beautifully. And I really don't think I would have gotten to where I've gotten if it wasn't for his help.
That's fantastic. My podcast is called Inventors Helping Inventors, so I'm certainly a big believer in it's a challenging business. Inventing is, as we all know. And so getting help is very useful. It's something I do with inventors as well. And I also like the fact that something I'm a big believer in is what I call the user experience, right? Because anytime you create a product, and it can be innovative and everything else, when you see them on Amazon and HSN and QVC, and you see how many star ratings there are, if something's got about a 2.8 or 3 average star rating, it's going to have lots of returns, and it's not going to be very successful in the market because the user experience is not good. The quality is maybe not so good or something like that. And sometimes inventors forget to pay close attention to that. So you went to great lengths to ensure that the quality of the material that you were using this was going to be top notch because you wanted the user experience to be good. You didn't want to just tell women that bought this, oh, your glasses won't get scratched. And they realized it was some sort of a cheap leather that was used for it. And especially if they have this nice purse with kind of a cheap something inside of it, they wouldn't want that. I think all of the struggle that went with going through a year to finally get it right, and then all the good things that came with it, like it's so cleanable and the material, you could even write on it and clean it. That makes that silicone leather a unique material that I think was a perfect choice on your part.
I'd like to say to that point for everyone that's listening, if you are an inventor, it's so interesting how your skills and experiences from other areas of your life come into play. For example, with my experience in graphic design, especially when I would design for print, I have a trained eye for detail and quality. And so I made sure every stitch was right, the color was right, the quality was where it needed to be. And that really served well to get into the handbag space, as well as putting together my own tech packs and those other skills that typically you would outsource other people to do if you couldn't do it yourself. So no matter what it is that you did before inventing whatever it is you're working on, there's always things that will help you from other careers or life experiences that come into play. And to me, I find that fascinating.
Yeah, I think that is fascinating. And I've referred several times to Steve Jobs' famous line about connect the dots looking backwards, that you'll do things in early parts of your life and you say to yourself, why the heck am I doing this? And what relevance does it have to anything? And then 5, 10, 15 years later, it'll suddenly come back to you. And when he was briefly in Reed College, I think it was, he never actually graduated from college before he went off to do his other things. He had taken just an interest class in different types of fonts because he always liked writing and using all sorts of different types of fonts. And this going way back, I guess, in the 80s or something, typically computers at that time, there was like 1 or 2 fonts. There weren't just a whole lot of fonts. And so when he first came out with his first Apple, maybe it was the Apple II computer, he used some unique fonts in it that had never been used before, but it was connecting the dots going back where he thought, I'd like to give people more choices than they have right now.
That's an excellent point. And I'm glad you brought that up because I know that about Steve Jobs, because if it wasn't for him, typography wouldn't have come as far as it did, especially years ago. And being in graphic design, I hand tool fonts. As a matter of fact, the logo that is on my bags is 4 S's that I did in Adobe Illustrator, which is a product or that was designed initially for the Mac. And it's hand tooled. And if it wasn't for someone like Steve Jobs, I don't know that I would have been able to do what I've done. And he's just such an incredible innovator and an inspiration for everyone. And his dedication and appreciation of design is what makes Apple what it is today. At least that's what I believe.
Oh, I believe that. And also, as an engineer by trade, I'll tell you that a lot of the engineers that worked for him, I won't say they hated him, but what they didn't like was he wanted, for example, the iPhone to be a beautiful product. And of course, engineers put stuff together and it works, but this thing's ugly. It looks like a hexagon, some kind of box or something, a metal box, but it doesn't look good. And so he would send them back and say, no, this is ugly. I want it to look beautiful. I want it to be aesthetic. I want nice rounded corners on it and many other things like that made them grit their teeth. Is come on, sir, it's working. That's not good enough.
That reminds me of the early days of the internet. I worked in the front end design and I'd work with developers. The same thing, the developers would say it's working, but it's supposed to look better. It's supposed to look like this. It's working and it looks like this. We need to make it work and look like this. Yeah. And it was a similar challenge because you got to have both design and functionality. And that's what I'm hoping to achieve with the handbags that I have to offer.
Oh, that's fantastic. And for a superior product, aesthetics really does matter. And people sometimes forget that. So anyways, as we roll towards a close, are there any parting words that you'd like to leave us with?
I would like to give some advice to any inventors out there that are birthing an idea. My suggestion would be to find other inventors like yourself and other groups like the United Inventors Association. And there's also a Women's Inventors Club that's run by Marcy McKenna, who's an inventor, and she's also a live shopping influencer that's very helpful. And it's through a lot of these groups and organizations that I'm a part of that I've learned after the fact how I should have done something or where I could have gotten references to better options and I could have saved a lot of time and a lot of money. So I would suggest like going out there and finding those clubs that have inventors where you can really learn and help each other out, because I've met the best people through these groups, people that I would be happy to spend my free time with day in and out. So that would be my suggestion.
Such a great suggestion that inventors really aren't going to be successful as, quote, lone wolves. It is useful to learn from others. And shout out to Marcy McKenna. She's phenomenal. I've known her for a fair number of years. I've had her on the podcast 3 times now so far, and she's been in our membership group to help us with that. And I knew about her Women's Inventors group and her entire product line at HSN. She's just truly an amazing entrepreneur and inventor and an inspiration to so many people. And there's a lot of people out there like that. Yeah, that's phenomenal. That's a great piece of advice. My last question is, how can listeners reach you if they have other questions or would like to purchase from you?
You can find me on social media at Scalzini Accessories, Instagram, Facebook. You can send me a direct message if you have any questions or if you want me to connect you to someone that might be able to help you with something that you're working on. And if you're curious about my product and you want to see the bags that I have to offer, you can go to scalzini.com. That's SCALZ and zebra, INI.com. And you can see the pocket system and how it all works inside the bags.
Well, that's fantastic. They can, as you just described, they can find you for Scalzini Accessories on Instagram and Facebook, as well as scalzini.com is your website. I just want to thank you so much, Renee, for being on the podcast with us today. And I'd like to reserve the opportunity another 6 months or a year to follow up with you and see what you've got going on at that time. So thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Thank you, Alan. I appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks so much for tuning in to Inventors Helping Inventors. If you like the show, please tell your friends about it. Make sure to subscribe in iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts so you won't miss a single episode. Talk to you soon.